Hey everybody, it's Roger Thorpe here. I'm president of Thorpe Benefits, and I'm joined by Allison Brown. How you doing, Allison?
I'm great. Thanks, Roger. How are you?
Great, great.
Good.
And we're back again to talk about really the best questions that you can ask yourself in terms of making a successful benefit plan. And we are today going to talk about question 8,
Mhm.
which is, are you really comfortable with all the factors that will ultimately go into a renewal and that impact your rates?
Right.
So
Exactly.
let's get right into it here.
Yeah, so there's a whole laundry list of factors that go into creating the rates, which is, twofold. It's something that you need to understand when you choose a carrier, when you're, in the pricing exercise, going to market, choosing the proper carrier, because each one of them has different fee structures and factors. But
Mhm.
also, more importantly, when we reach the point of renewal, are we understanding all of these factors? So we'll start with, your expense margin, which is really, what the carrier takes as their expenses, and it results in a target loss ratio. So the higher the target loss ratio, the better, of course, because that means that there's a smaller margin. But then at renewal, we also have to look at the inflation or factors, so the trend factors or the inflation factors, and what kind of reserves are they taking, especially in that first year. We want to make sure we understand the pooling or the stop loss fees. That can be a significant amount of your rate, it can be 20-25% of your rate. So that has to be understood. And then if we're walking into a renewal, we understand the claims experience and perhaps there's a new claim that's come on board and it's going to really affect future renewals. We want to make sure we're aware of that. More importantly, if we've
Mhm.
resolved a claim, let's say someone's left the company that was on a high cost drug, or we have a one-off like a hospital claim that's not going to be reoccurring. We want to make sure that we're in tune with those and we're negotiating based on those not being reoccurring claims.
Mhm.
Finally, you have to understand how much commission is built into your rate. And that's
Mhm.
one of the things that we don't often know about. And it's very important that it's disclosed so you have an understanding of how that affects the overall outcome of your renewal rates and your target loss ratio.
Yeah, and we're obviously so surprised that not only do people not know necessarily what they're paying in commissions, if they're not aware of these other factors, which by the way, we had done a symposium session on all of these in more detail. So we won't go through them in detail today, but there's a great session to explain how renewals are calculated. So
Mhm.
I guess the summary really from all this is if you learn the basics of these variables, you can actually calculate rates for yourself. And
Mhm.
instead of taking the word of a broker that says, hey, I negotiated a good deal, you can say, well, you can actually run the numbers yourself and know what is fair and what is not.
Mhm.
So that amount of detail and transparency and confidence is ultimately what gets past the financial components of this, and they can move on to other issues other than just price. And all this said, of course, is some of our clients obviously do not want to have to deal with inflation and reserves. They want to minimize many of these factors, and therefore they look at self-insured models. So there's a time and a place for that. There's a way to analyze whether that's the right thing to do. We won't go into that now, but it is in some cases a more efficient and more sort of accountable way of looking at how you pay things. So
Absolutely. But it's a
yeah,
timing issue with that too. So you want to make sure that you're
yes,
considering that as well. So,
that's right. Yeah, so lots more people can certainly ask us about these, but again, this is all really about knowing the factors and being a
mhm.
lot more confident in what you're paying for. So I think that that was an appropriate thing to go through.
Yep.
So thanks, Allison. That was good.
Yep. Great.
Good overview. Okay.
See ya.